We all know that Pixar movies are much more than just kids' fodder or animated entertainment. The detailed worlds and design are clearly there for adults to obsess over, breaking down details, finding connections, and coming up with some pretty crazy theories. From long-lost relatives to an incredible connection with a true crime story, check out some of the theories and the ways they can change your view of Pixar movies forever. In Coco, we get twist after twist delivered in the Mexican afterlife when Miguel enters the land of the dead, thinking Ernesto is his long-lost relative, when it turns out that they are not ever related at all. We can understand Miguel's confusion and his covered-up family history, but what about Ernesto? Well, according to a popular theory, Ernesto pretty much assumed Miguel was some descendant of a groupie he may have connected with back in the day. It makes sense considering his rock star lifestyle, and the fact that we don't meet any other members of Ernesto's family in the afterlife. Who knows how many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren Ernesto has created in his warped family tree that probably looks more like a tumbleweed at this point. When we meet Wall-E in his self-titled movie, the robot is wandering around Earth, seemingly all alone. Why does the cleaning robot not have any friends? Perhaps he went on a killing spree, taking out all the other robots of his kind. But why in the world would a little friendly robot like Wall-E turn into a cold-bolted robot killer? He was obsessed with his special collection of items. When another robot took an item he liked or went after his treasure, Wall-E was quick to the punch, exacting revenge and eliminating any other robot he could along the way. One of the saddest moments during Inside Out was when Bing Bong sacrificed his own memory in Riley's brain to help save Joy and Sadness. But what if things didn't have to be so sad? Sure, Bing Bong may be gone from Riley's mind, but what if he exists in the real world? What we're trying to say is Bing Bong is actually a monster from Monstropolis. His goofy persona helped him become a lead worker for the new and improved Monsters, Inc. And one of the main doors Bing Bong went through? Riley's. Naturally, Riley turned her memories of Bing Bong into an imaginary friend, and his presence in her mind only grew from there. Now Bing Bong is entertaining other kids all over the world. In a highly detailed and dramatic moment, Cars 3 shows us the downfall of Lightning McQueen as he suffers from an epic crash and must find a way to recover while trying to go back to his days of glory. One theory points to the plot of Cars 3 as a metaphor for the Cars franchise as a whole. After driving strong in the first movie, the crash in Cars 3 represents the great downfall and poor reception to the mess of Cars 2. And Lightning McQueen's journey to discover himself again is also Pixar's attempt at redemption for disappointing so many fans with the first Cars sequel. It makes a lot of sense, and was a much better way to close out the story for these talkin' cars. While he moved fast and was constantly squirming around, there was no hiding the fact that Hank the Octopus only had 7 tentacles in Finding Dory. Besides the behind-the-scenes information about 8 tentacles being too hard to animate and fit on his body, we never got any true in-story reasons how he did lose that extra appendage. One theory points to a shark attack, mainly because while eating animal crackers he avoids the shark ones. Another more plausible theory points to the aquarium touch tank. Hank fears that tank like no other, clearly suffering some type of brutal tug-of-war with a handsy child where he lost, and his tentacle represented the rope. If Pixar's Up doesn't make you cry enough already, well, break out those tissues, because we got more tears coming for you. In the film, we watch Carl embark on an incredible journey with his floating house. At first glance, the young Russell just seems like an innocent boy. But what if he is actually an angel in disguise? The journey Carl takes with his angel isn't to escape the city life, it's his journey to heaven, so he can eventually reunite with Ellie and spend eternity together. Many theories have talked about dreams, Carl being a coma or already dead, but connecting Russell as an angel takes it one step further and adds even more emotion to the film. Pixar movies have a ton of connections in their films, but what if one of them is truly evil? We're talking about the big and bad corporation known as By and Large. The company has been seen throughout several Pixar movies, and may have even been the ones who forced poor Carl out of his home. Not to mention that they have some type of connection to the abandonment of Earth in Wall-E. By and Large's desperation to make more money may have led to a ton of greed, carelessness about waste, and forced humans to leave Earth and live on space stations instead. If true, we need a Pixar movie to finally get some characters to stop the company from their evil plans. Incredibles 3, anybody? Miguel's love of music in Coco is clearly influenced by the tapes and recordings of Ernesto de la Cruz. But was there more to influence his natural love of music? While his family clearly banned music from everybody, Coco herself may have been sneaking some musical tunes in. Before she became too old and frail to barely speak, Coco and Miguel shared a close bond. Coco clearly still knows the Remember Me song and likely sang it to Coco when he was just an infant. Her secret singing to the child helped build his love and interest in music, clearly expanding the family connection even further. After losing her father, we highly doubt Coco would want to lose the connection to his own songs. Some of the biggest theories to come out of the Toy Story franchise have involved Andy's parents. Where's his dad? Are his parents divorced? But one of the ones that makes the most sense is the connection between Andy's mom and his toys. Andy's mom may be the original owner of Jessie. In Jessie's flashbacks, we see she was owned by a young girl who looks similar to Andy's mom. Not to mention the cowboy hat Andy owns and wears is a duplicate of Jessie's, not Woody's. And Andy's mom refers to Woody as a toy passed down through family members. She probably also had Jessie and regretted giving her up as a child. And after Jessie's discovery at a local collector, everything came full circle with the toy coming back to the family she grew up with. Pixar movies have enough theories on their own, but when you start crossing theories over, things start getting a little crazy. Take the connection between WALL-E and A Bug's Life. At the end of WALL-E, we see his sapling growing in dirt inside of a shoe. Well, one theory suggests the tree grew and turned out to be the same one featured as a focal point in A Bug's Life. The insect-led movie features no humans, which would make sense considering the ones from the space station all still need to return and repopulate the Earth. The bugs have been able to survive and have plenty of new growth thanks to the tree planted at the end of WALL-E. Of course, this is built under the assumption that A Bug's Life takes place in the very distant future. Edna Mode is not just a brilliant costume designer for the Parr family. She may have a few tricks up her sleeve we never even realized. Early in the movie, she warns the family about the dangers of capes and the fate so many heroes suffered because of them. And then in comes Syndrome, ready to wreak havoc as a supervillain with a cape. As seen, the cape ended up being the death of him, but we do have to wonder, was Edna Mode the one who designed his costume in the first place? And if she did design the costume, did she purposefully add the cape knowing it was a legitimate way of stopping the supervillain once and for all? Thanks to a cleverly placed Jessie doll in Boo's room, we can connect both the real worlds of Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story together. But did Monsters, Inc. give us an even deeper connection to the world of Toy Story? Well, let's check in with Randall, the evil lizard who can change his skin to match wallpaper. And right there! Look familiar? It's the infamous cloud wallpaper from Andy's room. The quick moment has led many to conclude that one of Randall's many screaming victims has been Andy all along. So that explains why Andy slept with Woody every night. The evil witch in Brave may have been in very little of the movie, but she definitely made an impact. Not only do people assume the spellbinding witch can travel through time, but she has a purpose through her travels. The theory states that the witch travels through time, dropping down the Pixar Easter eggs we get to see in every movie. Two of the biggest clues to this theory tie right into her scenes in Brave. Look closely in her little workshop, and you can see a carving of Sully from Monsters, Inc., and a creation of the Pizza Planet truck. The workshop is where she makes these Easter eggs before planting them all over the Pixar universe. Speaking of Brave, the movie features one of the earliest settings for Pixar films, and includes some of the first signs of magic in the Pixar timeline. Turning Merida's mother into a bear didn't just create a fun storyline, but it helped create a theory about how animals learn to talk and have human attributes in Pixar movies. The magic and wisps don't die off in Brave. They spread through worlds and help create the talking ants, grasshoppers, and other insects in A Bug's Life. It also gave magic to toys, allowing them to come to life with magic and a little help from a child's imagination. In Monsters, Inc., we see how the power plant helps give power to the city of Monstropolis. But what about the other surrounding cities and towns? According to some theories, there are no surrounding towns or cities. Monstropolis is walled in from the outside world, and while it's not shown in the movies, some of the theory is pretty much true. The original Monsters, Inc. DVD features the History of Monsters bonus feature, where a fun story talks about Monstropolis being located on a giant island. Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl are a match made in heaven. As young heroes, they quickly fell in love, and we even got to see their wedding on screen. The wedding was filled with superheroes, but who's missing? Any family members? Later on, the couple enters the witness protection program, but there is never any mention of their extended family or parents. The lack of other family members has led to a theory that both heroes are actually orphans. The theory extends further in The Incredibles 2, when the family is forced to move into a junky motel. They could have easily contacted another family member for help, if they actually had any. We're still catching our breath from The Incredibles 2, but people are already anticipating another sequel. While we wait for any new news or announcements about a third movie, we can cling on to some of the greatest theories from Incredibles fans. The third movie will flash forward into the future. Jack would be a teen, Violet will be marrying her junior high crush Tony, and Bob and Helen will have to deal with big transitions. Moving ahead in time could create endless stories, and also shift the time frame to the 70s, giving us some awesome new set designs and moments. Why is the witch from Brave so intriguing? What started as a side character in the movie has created some of the biggest theories in Pixar history. One of the most interesting involves her true identity. The witch from Brave may actually be Boo from Monsters, Inc. In an effort to hunt for Sully and find him, Boo goes through the magical monster doors, learns to travel through time, and eventually makes her way into the land of Scotland. Boo's ultimate mission is to reunite with her monster friends, and she ends up disturbing the whole Pixar universe in the process. We hate to think of the little Boo growing up to be an evil witch, but the theory does kind of make sense. The Toy Story trilogy has a lot of different themes, and one of them has been built around a theory of nature versus nurture. Toys of the same kind are made in the same factory and packaged in the same packaging. Clearly, the nurturing of a toy's owner changes the way the toy acts and manipulates their personality. Just look at Buzz Lightyear. After spending some time with Andy, he's learned to accept he's a toy and has a great friendship with Woody. Meanwhile, the Buzz toys in Al's Toy Barn don't act with these changes. Characters like Jessie, Lotso Bear, and the Proctor all have personalities and motivations based off experiences with their owners. The films clearly show how much nurture makes a difference when compared to the nature of the original toy. In the starting moments of The Incredibles 2, the Parr family went on quite a journey through their various living situations. After spending time in a cramped motel room, the family felt a big relief getting to move into the mega mansion loaned to them by Winston. While a description of the mansion refers to an eccentric billionaire who wanted to get in and out undetected, the line has brought up a lot of theories. Many point to the former house owner being someone like Bruce Wayne or possibly the Thunderbirds, but the best connection ties into the first film. The house could have been owned by none other than Syndrome. Just think of the falling waterfalls, crazy robots, and advanced technology only someone like Syndrome would have. When the screen slaver was unmasked in Incredibles 2, even the youngest kids in the audience could quickly figure out that this innocent-looking pizza delivery boy could not have been the main culprit in the movie. That sure would have been a far cry from Syndrome in the first film. Instead, it turned out that the screen slaver mask was controlling the pizza man to do some pretty dastardly things. But where did this idea come from? Well, it's probably a little more than a coincidence that the crime is eerily similar to the true case of Brian Wells. Wells, a pizza delivery man, was forced to wear a bomb around his neck and commit crimes or the bomb would explode. Wells was arrested and charged for the crimes, but unlike the movie, his bomb went off before the bomb squad could arrive. Do Pixar movies have some strange connection with Stanley Kubrick's The Shining? Seeming to be way more than just an Easter egg, you can find Shining references in a lot of different films. The first came with the carpet pattern seen in Sid's house during the original Toy Story. Even Coco has some Shining references. When Miguel is watching famed artist Frida Kahlo prepare a performance, there's a painting of the twin girls from The Shining in the background. And the axe that Jack carries around also makes an appearance early in the movie. Could all of these references have a deep and dark meaning? If there's a new Pixar film, you can guarantee to hear the iconic voice of John Ratzenberger behind one of the characters. He has been considered their lucky charm. But is the company looking for a new lucky charm in the process? Well, a theory has popped up that Bill Hader may be the guy. Hader has voiced a number of animated characters and has been doing Pixar roles for some time now. He's done small roles in films like Monsters University, Finding Dory, and of course as Fear for Inside Out. In the next few years, we'll be able to tell how much of a lucky charm Bill Hader actually is. Many theories point to Pixar movies connecting with a possible apocalypse in the future. With humans erased, a world of machines begins to rise, and gives us the movie Cars. A Bug's Life focuses on bugs surviving in the wild without the presence of humans. Monsters, Inc. also features an alternative world of monsters where humans are only accessed through time-traveling doors. And one of the most obvious movies applied to this theory is the film WALL-E, where Earth has literally been abandoned by all human life. Not only do the films tie into life following an apocalypse, but they tie into an even bigger and larger Pixar theory. You cannot talk about Pixar theories without mentioning the biggest one of them all, simply titled The Pixar Theory. This theory finds a way to connect every single Pixar film. The connections are pretty complicated, but everything falls into a single timeline, starting with Brave and leading us into the future filled with magic, movies, and life after the humans. The witch from Brave helps connect a lot of the theory together, assuming she is a time-traveling Boo from the Monsters, Inc. series. As each new Pixar movie comes out, believers in the theory find ways to connect the stories and build their ever-growing universe. That was a lot of speculation and theories. Which one do you believe the most? Any good ones that we might have missed? Do you think all Pixar movies are connected? Leave us a comment, let us know, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.